Welcome back to the biggest stage in world football. Tonight in Dallas, we witnessed an absolute blockbuster of a knockout match as Norway locked horns with the Ivory Coast. The Ivory Coast entered this high-stakes clash, making 3 changes from their 2-0 victory over Curaçao. Unsurprisingly, 2-goal hero Nicolas Pepe kept his starting place after his clinical brace in that game. Konan Agbadu returned to the backline, while Lyon's teenage sensation Haaland Diallo carried the heavy burden of expectation to provide the ammunition for Bony, who was desperately searching for his first international goal since gaining citizenship just last month. On the flip side, Norway brought back all of their big guns after resting 10 key players in their final group match against France. It was mostly the same side that edged Senegal 3-2, with 2 notable exceptions. Patrick Berg stepped into the midfield engine room, and Marcus Pedersen filled in at right back for the injured regular Julian Ryerson. All eyes, however, were on Erling Haaland, dangerously fresh and raring to go after scoring 2 goals in each of his first 2 World Cup matches. The match ignited from the opening whistle. Norway went straight on the attack with Haaland lurking in the center. Getting his first sight of goal, he went direct, pragmatic, clinical, and sharp. Moments later, Norway thought they were in. A golden opportunity fell to Sorloth, but it was denied by a world-class last-ditch recovery block from Doué. The Ivory Coast responded with intent as their attacking left-back burst into the box, nearly catching Nyland off guard at the near post with a venomous strike. The tactical chess match intensified when Patrick Berg delivered a dangerous ball into the box, causing total indecision in the Ivorian defense. Haaland Diallo tried to pounce on the hesitation, but referee Jesus Valenzuela saw the impending danger and blew his whistle. The Ivory Coast hit back instantly. Gimo delivered an excellent ball, Pepe provided a clever cutback looking for Bony, but a vital intervention from a Brentford defender hooked the ball away from the danger zone. And then, the deadlock was broken in spectacular fashion. Norway showed immense patience, working the ball wide to Antonio Nusa. The youngster shifted inside onto his favored right foot and curled a magnificent swerving effort into the far corner. Absolute technique, focus, and sheer ability. Nusa was already peeling away to celebrate before the ball even hit the back of the net. Ironically, while his club teammate Haaland Diallo had been far busier in the first half, it was Nusa who delivered the devastating blow to open the scoring in Dallas. With their tails up, Norway threatened to double their lead. Sorloth picked out Haaland in the box, and the powerhouse striker met it with a powerful header despite being sandwiched by 2 defenders, though it flew just off target. Moments later, Haaland had another golden chance from a looping header down by Sorloth, but Sangare made a monumental goal line clearance. The first half ended in a fiery atmosphere, with goal scorer Nusa going into the referee's book for a rash challenge, and Nicolas Pepe flashing a dangerous effort just a yard wide of Nyland's post. The Ivory Coast emerged with renewed vigor in the second half, throwing caution to the wind. Doué was absolutely superb at right back, constantly delivering dangerous crosses that unhinged the Norwegian backline. Bony was substituted for Haaland Diallo, meaning he would have to wait longer for his first international goal. But that substitution proved to be a masterstroke. In the 83rd minute, Haaland Diallo produced a moment of pure individual brilliance. Initiating a lightning-fast give-and-go, Diallo carved his way through the entire Norwegian defense. The ball seemed magnetically stuck to his left foot as he drifted past defenders without even needing to look at the target, smashing it home to send a sea of orange fans into absolute delirium. We might have just seen the goal of the tournament. But you can never count Norway out. With the clock ticking down, inevitability took over. Bob orchestrated a brilliant phase of play, threading a beautiful pass into the box. And there he was, Erling Haaland. He didn't need to use his immense physicality or muscle his way through this time. He was simply in the right place at the right time. Haaland stood still, anticipated the space, and with an almost apologetic touch, guided the ball into the back of the net. There are certain certainties in life: taxes, death, and Erling Haaland scoring goals. Norway led 2-1. Stoppage time was a heart-stopping affair, stretching well beyond the signaling 7 minutes. The Ivory Coast won a dangerous free kick, and Haaland Diallo unleashed a fierce strike, but Nyland produced a stunning fingertip save over the crossbar. In a desperate final roll of the dice, Ivorian goalkeeper Fofana rushed into the opposition box for a late corner to cause chaos, but the final whistle blew. Norway have broken new ground. For the very first time in football history, they have won a World Cup knockout match. Erling Haaland popped up when it mattered most, and Norway are marching on to face Brazil this Sunday. Looking back at those breathtaking 90 minutes in Dallas, this match was not just a thrilling spectacle of goals, but a high-level tactical chess match between 2 contrasting football philosophies: Europe's structured pragmatism against Africa's explosive, unpredictable individual brilliance. From an analytical perspective, 3 key tactical dimensions decided the fate of this round of 16 tie. Both teams prioritized wide areas in their attacking transitions, but they did so with completely different tactical setups. Norway's approach. The Norwegians demonstrated incredible positional patience. By utilizing Antonio Nusa and Sorloth as inverted wingers, they successfully dragged the Ivorian defensive block horizontally. Nusa's opening goal was a textbook example of exploiting the underlap. As the Ivorian backline shifted to cover the wide zone, Nusa cut sharply into the half space. The lack of defensive cover from the Ivorian central midfielders allowed him the time and angle to shape his body and execute that world-class curling finish. The Ivory Coast's countermeasure. Conversely, the Ivory Coast found joy through Dewey at right back. Dewey's discipline was commendable. He refrained from overcommitting to traditional overlaps. By staying slightly deeper, he maintained a clear field of vision to whip dangerous early crosses into the corridor of uncertainty, the 5-meter box. The injury absence of Ryerson severely exposed Norway's left flank, as Pedersen often found himself overloaded and isolated against the pace of the Ivorian wingers. From a tactical standpoint, analyzing Erling Haaland's role in this match is fascinating. For large stretches, Haaland appeared completely isolated, neutralized by the physical, tight-marking pairing led by Konan Agbadu. However, this isolation was a double-edged sword. The Ivory Coast did a commendable job blocking the direct passing lanes into Haaland's feet, forcing Norway to rely on looping crosses and second-phase aerial duels. Yet Haaland's true elite trait is his mental resilience to remain functionally anonymous, effectively lulling the opposition defense into a false sense of security. On the match-winning goal, as the Ivorian center-backs instinctively stepped up to compress the space against Bob and Berg at the edge of the box, Haaland executed a brilliant decoy movement. By simply standing still and dropping a yard behind the defensive line's momentum, he created an ocean of space for himself. He didn't need to muscle his way in. His elite spatial awareness allowed him to convert a slightly mishandled ball into the winning goal. The game completely shifted dynamically when the Ivory Coast substituted Bony for Haaland Diallo. Bony's struggles in the first half stemmed from a structural disconnect. He lacked a technical partner to combine with Pepe. Diallo's introduction completely altered the Ivory Coast's attacking geometry, from vertical crossing to intricate, short-passing combinations in the final third. Analysts' insight. Haaland Diallo's equalizer was not a defensive anomaly. It was the direct result of punishing Norway's overly conservative low block. When Diallo received the ball off the give-and-go, Norway's midfield pivot, including Patrick Berg, failed to step up and close the space quickly enough, terrified of leaving gaps behind for Pepe to exploit. Allowing a left-footed maestro like Diallo space inside the box is tactical suicide. His low center of gravity and superb ball retention allowed him to manipulate the defender's body shapes before snapping a shot into the near post past Nyland. Ultimately, Norway's historic victory came down to structural maturity in definitive moments. They managed their defensive shape during high-pressure phases, knew how to absorb the psychological blow of the equalizer, and possessed world-class match winners at both ends of the pitch, evident in Haaland's clinical positioning and Nyland's stunning fingertip save in the dying seconds of the match. While the Ivory Coast can exit the tournament with their heads held high after a spirited performance and a goal of the tournament contender from Diallo, their momentary lapses in defensive structural communication at the end cost them dearly. Norway has survived a monumental test, rewriting their football history, and they look tactically prepared for a tactical showdown against Brazil this Sunday.